Back again, and we're going to continue here as Dawn has been left in the Valle Bajo after passing through the portal, and Nightwing has gone off after giving him some directions. Seems like Nightwing's done with him for a while. So now he's off to see the gnomon in the place of homes and also meet this woman or Peralta or whatever she is by the name of Raquella. Let's find out what happens now to Dawn. Chapter 15. Dawn marveled at the similarities and difference of the Valle Bajo compared to the middle Rio Grande Valley around Rio Luna. What was an imposing hill of a few hundred feet elevation on the mesa west of Rio Luna, here in the Valle Bajo was a mountain peak rising nearly 4,500 feet higher. The land was so spread out from the east, it forced the Dream River to curve around through what looked like a miniature Grand Canyon. To the west, a wide plateau sat about 300 feet up the steep trail Dawn had followed alongside an arroyo. The knowood, consisting of mountain cottonwood and pines, sat at its south end. In the distance, on a slightly elevated open ground north of the knowood, he saw the place of homes. He was grateful it was autumn here, because the climb would have been much more than he could have managed in warmer weather. Ugh, damn screwed-up world, he complained to the universe, which wasn't particularly interested in his opinion. It's day here, when it's night back home, and it's fall here when it's spring there. I wonder why the east and west aren't reversed too. Dawn leaned against a scrubby pinon to keep from rolling back down. Everything is so damn vast. If this is a dream, why do I feel such agony climbing this slope? Damn it, I've never felt things so acutely, even when awake and sober back home. This must be real, but how can it? How can it? He hollered, listening to the echoes resonate and fade into the afternoon hush. The universe had no answer, at least not for Dawn. Looking eastward, he saw the wide tangle that swept on for miles before the edge of the Dream River came into view. To the northwest were tall sand cones. That must be the Peralta steeples, he thought. Between him and them were the high lava cliffs with a defiant tower marking the point where the cliffs turned west and blended into the plains that stretched out beyond the northwestern horizon. The color of the desert plains behind it, the tower was too perfectly round and gently tapering to its summit to be natural. So this was the mysterious Tower of Il Serrohe. Now here's another screwy thing, Dawn told the gnats swarming lazily around his head. El Cerro of my valley is on the east side of the river, not the west. Same thing for Peralta, east side, not west. Maybe things are reversed here. He sighed, turning back to the steep slope as he worked his way up to the mesa. It did seem odd the gnomon had no trail that he could detect. Even if they didn't often travel up and down the slope, it was still odd. That, or he was too stupid to find it. At last he reached the flat mesa and headed into the cool shade of a lone mountain cottonwood whose leaves were turning a brilliant yellow. The bat's directions were good, and he soon reached a plateau studded with more cottonwoods, the place of homes. Beyond sight and sound of his incautious approach, Nursite, young gnomon, warrior in training, was pulling guard duty, pacing around the tunnel entrance to his root home. When he became aware of ground vibrations signaling the approach of a strange creature. Nursite called out, "Hey, hey, hey!" His fellow gnomon, trained from birth to react quickly to the sharp cry of "Hey!" scurried from their task to disappear deep into their tunnels. Those below ground, hearing the muffled call, stopped what they were doing to listen without breathing. Nursite jumped into the tunnel leading to his root home and frantically pulled the flagstone cover over it. After a few moments, he heard the scrunching sound of feet as Dawn wandered, trying to find the gnomon. Immobile in their small, dark cave homes, they waited for a sore-eyed torch, heavy with tar, to be thrown down to flush them out to a quick demise or, worse yet, a slow death of slavery. Instead, nothing happened. just a lot of scrunching around. Then came a booming voice, penetrating the 1 yard of dirt covering Nursite's root homes. "Is this the place of Holmes? If you're the gnomon, I'm sent by the Bat. I'm supposed to be here to help the Sorais, whoever the hell they are. Come on, damn it, I don't have all day. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing there. And if you don't come out, I'll know I'm crazy, and I'll have to voluntarily commit myself to the nut house." There was a long pause. No sound or movement. Then, mumbling to himself, Don mused, "Shit, I knew it. I lost it, and now I don't know how to get out of this place or this dream. Bat, where the hell are you? This is the wrong place." Curiosity is an uncommon characteristic of a gnomon, but Nursite had enough for the whole race. He crept up his tunnel and slowly pushed back the flagstone covering its entrance. A scent of fermented flowers, leather, and an oily burnt yuck flooded his senses. But before he could replace the flagstone, it flew away, and a massive hairy face filled his vision. "Oh!" was all Nursite could manage before the huge face sprouted an arm and yanked him out so fast every joint in his body felt pulled apart. "Aha, Gnomon. That or you're some damn punk screwing around in a hole in the ground. Don't you know this tunnel could collapse and suffocate you?" His breath was heavy with overcooked beans and stale chili, and his manner of speech was not only rude but also primitive, according to gnomon standards. Nursite, up on his feet, could see Don was taller than him, but wasn't some kind of sore-eyed dwarf, because he was 2/3 the size of an average sore-eye height and way too fat. Actually, not fat, but only in comparison to the Sorais, who looked like they were built of young saplings weighing no more than 2 or 3 gnomon adults. However, on closer inspection, he looked a lot like a Perrault. "Well," Don bellowed, adding an unfamiliar smell of soured barley beer to the menu, "I'm not a child, and that's no hole. It's my root house. And further, this is the place of Holmes. We who live here are gnomon. And just who does Nightwing think he is sending? Some undersized Sorai to burn us to cinders in our homes? Nightwing may be a butthead, but he's trying to help you by sending me on this hallucination to keep you from ending up a bunch of shrinking, crispy critters in these holes you call homes." "Holes? You haven't seen inside one, and you're being critical." It was now obvious that this wasn't an auspicious beginning to the relationship between Don and the gnomon. Just as he was ready to pull Nursite apart like a cruel child pulls the legs off a grasshopper, a shrill cry reverberated across the mesa. "Sorai! Sorais! Gnomon, to your holes!" Don stood up, trying to find the source of the warnings, which, unknown to him, were the Seanoks, a clan who spent much of their time in the tree and who called out warnings when Sorais were slithering about. That was Nursite's chance. He motioned for assistance to Netherbro, a neighbor who had been peeking from his own hole nearby. Swiftly approaching Don from behind, Netherbro crouched on his hands and knees behind Don. Nursite stood up and pushed Don over Netherbro's back. Before he could react, the gnomon each grasped an ankle and drug him down into Nursite's hole. No, you little son of the bitches. I'm claustrophobic. Don't drag me into your stinking little holes. Oh, God, I'm going to suffocate." They could barely get him through the narrow entryway and into the wider landing. His kicking and fighting made it impossible to pull him into Nursite's living room where there was more room. Nursite quickly shoved his censer under Don's nose. "Calm down." He grabbed Don's face with both hands, forcing their eyes to meet in the dim light. "Look at me. You're okay. Nothing's going to happen to you if you just stay still and quiet. We're under attack. You must keep quiet until it's safe. Just breathe deeply and the incense will calm your temper." Over his shoulder and through clenched teeth, Nursite hissed at Netherbro. "Get cloves and manzanilla from my censer. They will calm me more quickly. Hurry!" However, Netherbro didn't need to hurry after all. for Don had passed out cold. Oh boy. Well, we'll see you the next time when I'll be reading to you from chapter 16. Bye.